Hey guys, Craig with Wildland Outdoors here. So I was doing some thinking over the past couple of weeks, and while waiting on some parts for the MCOM box, I've been working on doing some training with my radio, testing my gear, seeing, making sure I know what it is, and it kind of occurred to me with a recent decision I made that this may be something that other people may be interested in. So I'm going to go ahead and share a video on it. I work a program called Parks on the Air. Basically, you have ham radio operators that go out to parks and they, based off the rules, they activate a park by trying to get 10 contacts, and then they have hunters that hunt the activators. Well, in hunting Parks on the Air, I have earned an award called Worked All States. From my house with my radio, my antenna running off of a 12-volt battery, I have managed to work every state in the United States, including Washington, D.C. So, upon doing that, I decided, okay, and I did that using up to the max 100 watts that my radio can do. Let's do it again on 10 watts or less. So I've started in on doing that. And I think I'm a little over halfway now in less than a week of working the US again. I have a map I'll show you guys here in a second that I've been using since there's no online way for me to track it. But let me get the camera turned around here and I'll kind of give you guys a walkthrough of what I'm doing and what I'm looking at. So as you can see here, on my screen, there's all these call signs and K numbers, and even that HI number. Those are all people currently on 20 meters out in a park who are activating. So as you can see, sorry about my finger there. As you can see, we have Oklahoma, Kentucky, Ohio, Florida. This is this HI8D. He is in the Dominican Republic. I have worked him as well. I've worked Puerto Rico. So with this program, it gives you the ability to directly target each state. So if I wanted to target Oklahoma, I could turn my radio to 14314 and work on getting a contact with him at 10 watts. And, it allows me to make a targeted contact. As you can hear in the background, I queued up to a Parks on the Air activation so that you guys can kind of get an idea of what's going on.
QSL 59 Ontario, Roger. Roger. I've got a pipeline to Ontario today. We're several threes up there. Thank you. Very good. We like it that way.
So, as you hear, you got people making contacts. To me, what got me attracted to Parks on the Air was the deliberate action of being able to target a specific state to see if I can make contacts there. So, as I went over before, the various states that, are just currently listed here, I've got Florida, Oklahoma, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, another Oklahoma, the Dominican Republic, and North Carolina. Those are the 8 that are on the screen. As far as MCOM goes, to me, for HF, high frequency usage, this is a perfect training platform. You can target a state and try to work it, and when you work it, eventually, if you're part of the program, you'll get an award for it. You'll get the Worked All States award. And then, like I did it on 100, now I'm doing it on 10. After I do it on 10, I may go back through and do it on 5, which is the lowest my radio will go, just to see how far I can get out on 5 watts. But this is the perfect tool to train yourself for MCOM, for making contacts. Because you're forcing yourself to deal with the trouble that comes with trying to reach various states. And along with that, you're also going to gain a really good understanding of how your radio functions. So your filters on your radio, like when I got Alaska and Hawaii, I spent probably an hour on each of those doing nothing but adjusting my filters to get it clear. So, as I was doing that, I was learning my radio, which is even better for emergency uses. Now, a friend of mine, Ben, he's got a YouTube channel, Spotter Jetting. It will be linked below. He put a video out this morning. He kind of went on a rant. There's two organizations within the amateur radio spectrum that are directly related to emergency services. You have ARES, which is the Amateur Radio Emergency Services, and RACES, which is the I think it's Radio Amateur Communications Emergency Services. I'm not 100% on that one. And those are volunteer organizations that you can get into that in disasters like tornadoes, hurricanes, etc., actually do get activated and go out and pass messages, whether it's sending emails over radio or just passing voice comms over your radio. And he kind of went over the same thing. He said he's seen in some areas that people are lacking going out and getting training. And, he suggested going out and doing Parks on the Air, which is what I just showed you, or Summits on the Air, which is a very similar program, but it's for activating summits. And it resonated with me really, really well, because I was already thinking about making this video when I saw that. So for all of you guys that are just getting started in ham radio, text, there's people that activate specifically in the 10 meter band, so technicians can get in on it. If you have your general license, which is where you need to get in a lot of the HF bands, there's a lot of people that'll get mic fright, or they're just, they'll end up like me. I ended up with some really rude encounters when I first started getting on, and I just I'm not dealing with it. It's not worth it. So for a while, my radio just sat until I found out about POTA, Parks on the Air, and I got involved. And it's fantastic. I've been out, I've activated once. I'm going to do some more activations and probably get some on here. But from a training perspective, it's perfect. You go out into the field and you set up your gear using a battery, your car. You're not hooked up to power. So you're already right there putting yourself in that emergency mindset for training, because you're setting your gear up off the grid. And then, you can challenge yourself. Like Ben said, I believe he takes him about 30 to 35 minutes from the moment he arrives at a park to be on the air broadcasting. That's getting his entire station set up, antenna, ready to go, and on the air talking to people. So in that fashion, you can challenge yourself to see, okay, in an instance of, oh crap, something happened, I need to get my stuff set up ASAP, how fast can I do it? Parks on the Air is a really easy way to do it. The only timer that's actually running is yours. If it takes you 10 minutes to get set up to do a activation, it can take you 10 minutes to get your station set up. If it takes you 45 minutes to lug everything out there, get it all set up and do whatever, it's time to maybe start looking at some ways to get everything else narrowed down and cut up so that you can cut that time. But yeah, I just wanted to get on and bring that up because, I know there's a lot of guys out there that play the ham radio game of, well, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get my license, I'm going to get my radios, but, I'm not going to use it. I mean, maybe here, maybe there. I really don't like trying to get on and talk to these guys. I've had some bad experiences. Parks on the Air is fantastic. You won't have a bad experience with those guys.
And and then there's the other guys that go out and they get their HTs, their handy talkies, a Baofeng or a Yaesu or whatever, and they're like, well, I'm not gonna get my license, and shit hits the fan, end of the world, WROL. I'm not gonna need a license. You're right, you're not, but you're gonna need to know how to use your radio, and the only way to learn how to use your radio is to use your radio. So, my recommendation to people, to anyone watching this video, is go out and work for it. I mean, see if there's local clubs, whatever. Study, get your license, get on the air, talk to people, even if it's just with Parks on the Air. Other than Parks on the Air, I might talk to some of the guys in my Iowa radio operators Discord group if I can. Otherwise, I talk to my dad in North Dakota, my brother in Colorado. But it gives me that knowledge that my equipment can do what I need it to do when I need it to do it. So go out, get your license. It's fun. You can do all sorts of things. There's guys that jump out of planes and activate while they're in a parachute floating down. So the realm of what you can do with ham radio is ridiculous. So don't be afraid. It's, there's some knowledge to it. It is a written test, but it's not complicated. The technician portion is not complicated. The general portion's a little harder, not too bad. And the extra portion, well, that's a whole nother beast, and that's a beast I'm working on right now. So, but get out there, get your radios, use it. Like I say in every video, train with what you got. If you've only got, HTs, get on, see what you can do about getting on to the repeaters. See if there's any, try to figure out if there's any local nets that you can get involved with. If you've got your general and you've got an HF radio, absolutely get out there and POTA. It's fun. It's easy. There's really no intimidation factor to it whatsoever. All the pressure is literally on the guy at the park. You can sit in your house and no pressure. It's on the guy at the park doing the activation, not you. So like I said, I'll link Ben's video below in case you want to hear his rant and his thoughts, because he does talk about POTA, like I said. And he too believes that it is a very good training tool for emergency comms. So I told you guys at the beginning I was going to go ahead and show you where I'm at now with my 10 watt map. There's my 10 watt map. Every state that you see crossed off, I've talked to on 10 watts. So it's something that you can do. And, this was all accomplished literally every time I come downstairs to take the dogs out. I let the dogs out. I sit down at my radio, turn it on, hunt a park or two here or there. Dogs come inside. I shut the radio off, go back upstairs, doing whatever else I needed to do. So it's not overly time consuming. It's just a matter of doing it. So guys, this is Craig with Wildland Outdoors telling you, get out and train with what you got. It's the only way you're going to learn, and it's the only way you're going to be prepared. We'll see you on the next one.